If you have art supplies that you keep saving until you're better, more inspired, or finally have an idea that is worth enough, then this video is for you. I have entire drawers filled with art supplies that I genuinely love, but somehow I barely use them. Some feel too nice to waste, some are a bit unfamiliar, so I kind of keep avoiding them. Others make me kind of question if I'm skilled enough to use them. But the longer that I keep saving them, the more ridiculous it just becomes. So today I'm taking 5 art supplies that I've been avoiding to use them to create one complete collection. I will call it a secret garden. So each material will become a different part of the drawings. And I'm going to start with the supplies that feel the easiest for me to kind of approach. And I'm slowly going to work towards the medium I feel kind of the least confident to use. So along the way, I also want to figure out why we become so afraid of using our art supplies. And by the end of this video, you will have 5 simple ways to stop saving your own art supplies for later and finally start creating with them. So let's get into it. So the first supplies that I'm using are my acrylic markers from RTX. I've used them before, also in some videos, but definitely not as much as I should. Like, it's been already I think a month or more that I've been not just using them, and I've been kind of just avoiding them. I really honestly love the colors, the opacity, and even the way they look when the complete set is organized. But because I love the set so much, I sometimes catch myself reaching for something else instead of using them. Some part of me sometimes thinks, should I save them for a better drawing? But like, what does it even mean? How do you decide whether an idea is important to deserve a certain material or color? And when does an ordinary random sketch become very special? So for the first drawing, I'm going to create this small collection of mushrooms. I chose mushrooms because they give me a lot of freedom to experiment with different shapes. They don't need to certainly be realistic with the colors or be the perfect shape. You can make them tall, round, crooked, covered in dots, or completely imaginary. So first I'm just sketching it out with a pencil. I always like to do this, but I'm not going to spend too much time correcting it. The more perfect I make a sketch, the more pressure I will give myself. So instead I'm going to treat this as a very playful drawing. So I'm going to definitely build it up in the way I'm drawing. First, I always love to make one base layer in one color, and then I'm going to just continue to add in more depth with different colors. Acrylic markers work really well if you want to layer the material, because each layer that you give is always very opaque. I'm also going to force myself to use my most favorite shades instead of automatically saving them, because eventually the markers will run out, whether I use it now or in several years. The difference is that using it now gives me an actual drawing, while saving it will just give me a full marker sitting inside a box. Make the first drawing intentionally very unimportant. Don't wait for your best concept. Use a supply for tiny illustrations, a color test, a familiar object, or something that doesn't require perfect proportions. Your job is not to create a masterpiece. Your first job is to make the material feel normal to use. Once you've made the first mark, the supply stops feeling like a precious object and starts becoming what it was always supposed to be: a tool. The second material is one that I've actually barely touched at all, and it's actually all oil pastels. I don't think I've avoided these because they were like especially expensive or rare. I avoided them because I didn't really know what to do with them. Like in art school we used soft pastels, but I've never used oil pastels before actually. I'm also a bit more comfortable with using supplies that give me clean lines or a certain amount of control, while oil pastels I think are more softer and thicker and also a bit messier. So it really depends on the vibe too. You honestly can't really draw very sharp, I think, in the same way that you can draw with a pencil or with watercolors. They don't immediately create like any kind of details. So I think when a material feels a bit unfamiliar, it is easy to tell yourself, oh, I'm just going to use it for another day. But the day never really arrives because you still feel just an unfamiliar feeling with the next time that you open your drawer and you want to use the supply. So for the second part for my secret garden, I'm creating a large butterfly. A butterfly gives me enough space to experiment on the page for the soft transitions and also the layered colors, while the patterns on the wings allow me to play without needing everything to look very realistic. I'm also going to use a thicker paper for some texture. It doesn't need to be this expensive specialized paper, but just something that's a bit more on the thicker side that can handle the pressure of your pastels. So I always begin with the general shape and I'm going to divide them in larger areas, and instead of drawing tiny details immediately, I'm focusing on colors that really work well together. The biggest challenge is probably to let go of the control. I think my instinct is to force the old pastels to behave like, for example, colored pencils. So I'm going to layer the colors, blend certain areas, and leave other parts more textured. Some sections can be very smooth, while others can still show the pastel marks. I can also use lighter colors over the darker ones to soften certain transitions. This leads to our second rule. Don't judge a new material by how well it copies your usual style. If you normally draw with a pencil, your first oil pastel drawing probably won't have the same level of detail. That doesn't automatically mean it is worse. It might simply be offering you a completely different type of result. Instead of asking, why can't I control this material? Try asking, what can this material create that my usual art supply can't? So if I have motivated you so far, make sure you like this video and also subscribe to get back into drawing. For the third drawing, I am using something that most people probably don't really see as a traditional art supply. So I'm going to use highlighters. I've collected quite a few over the years, and most of them still work, but I know that they won't remain visible forever. Highlighters are designed to be bright, transparent, and honestly impossible to ignore. That can make them slightly difficult to make realistic art with them, but it also makes them perfect to be kind of playful and just reconnect with your inner child. So for this part, for the secret garden, I'm drawing a neon beetle. Beetles already have a very interesting shape, reflective surfaces, or very symmetrical patterns. So by using bright fluorescent markers, I can make it look like it has a tiny glow to it. Before I start the final drawing, I'm testing every highlighter first on a separate paper. This is useful because the color of the plastic doesn't always really match with the exact result on the paper. Some colors can also maybe be weaker, and a few highlighters might already be kind of dried out. I'm choosing a limited color palette rather than using every single color that I own. Even with something as bright as a highlighter, limiting colors can make the final drawing look much more intentional. Because the highlighters are transparent, I need to approach them a bit differently from the acrylic markers. So I'm starting with the lightest shades and just gradually adding the darker areas. And when the two colors overlap, they can create a new shade. So I want to use the transparency instead of kind of fighting against it. This drawing also proves that experimenting with art doesn't always require buying something new. Sometimes creativity comes from taking an ordinary object and using it differently. A highlighter can still be an art supply when you decide to make art with it. So the third rule is prioritize the supplies that can expire or dry out. If you have markers, pens, paints, or anything else that won't last forever, place those materials somewhere visible. You can even make a small box or a pencil case, like a see-through pencil case, filled with the supplies that you want to use next. Saving something only makes sense when it actually preserves it. So if a material dries out before you ever touched it, then leaving it unused is actually the real waste. The first three materials were art supplies that I didn't use enough, or I didn't know how to really approach. Final two are more difficult because they make me much aware of my own skills. The fourth supply is also from RTX. I also received it as a gift, and I've used these alcohol markers before, but I feel like I should definitely use them more to be more confident with them and experiment with them, because I feel like they can create smooth transitions, and I honestly also love the color palette. It's like more on the pastel side. I feel like also also darker colors can easily overpower it a bit more. So I actually like that it's kind of within the same palette. And honestly, once the drawing is on your page, you actually cannot erase it at all. So I think because of that, sometimes I feel like I should really become really good at it before using it properly. But when you actually think about it, it doesn't make any sense. You can improve with the alcohol markers while continuing to avoid them. So for the fourth drawing, I'm creating a frog sitting on a water lily. So this feels more like a complete little scene. I have the frog, the flower, and the little pet and some water. And before I begin coloring, I also like to test it out a bit, but I also of course have a little spreadsheet with all my colors. Honestly, recommend that if you have a specific art supply, you can always make little swatches. So I'm beginning with the lightest colors and gradually building up that shadow with the different markers. It is much easier to make an area darker than it is to rescue a section that became too dark immediately. For the frog, I'm leaving some lighter areas visible so that the body still has some type of dimension. I'm also working on smaller sections while the ink is slightly wet, because that can help the colors blend more naturally. I already know the drawing probably won't be perfect. A color maybe become darker than expected, or maybe a blend may look uneven, but those moments don't mean I wasn't ready to use the markers. They show me how the ink reacts and how quickly I need to work and how different colors behave together. So this gives us our fourth rule. Use the materials to build a skill instead of waiting for the skills to appear first. You don't become confident, you begin practicing and feel slightly uncomfortable for a while, and confidence will slowly just grow towards you. The final material is the one I feel the least confident using, the colored pencils. I'm not afraid of my physical pencils running out. I'm more afraid of the result of the final drawing, that it just won't look as good as I expected to look. Colored pencils actually required some patience, layering and also control. So with acrylic markers you can be very quickly with creating bold shapes. With the oil pastels I can accept a rougher texture, but colored pencils make every decision feel more visible. If the proportions are wrong, the colors look flat, or the shading is rushed, it becomes very obvious. That's why I'm using them for my final drawing. So to complete this theme of the secret garden, I'm drawing a fox surrounded with flowers, and the mushrooms, butterfly, beetle and frog feel like smaller discoveries inside the garden, while the fox becomes the main character living in this world. I'm starting with a more careful sketch because the proportions matter, but I also don't want to correct it for so long that I become afraid to begin the coloring stage. Once the basic shape feels right, I'm adding a very light base layer. One mistake I often make with colored pencils is pressing too hard too early, because I want the drawing to look finished immediately. But colored pencils need time. The first layer may look a bit pale and slightly disappointing, but that doesn't mean the drawing is going badly. It means the drawing is still at the beginning. For the fox, I'm combining several colors instead of using only an orange pencil, and I can add lighter warm tones, deeper oranges, browns, some color shades inside the shadows. This should make the fur feel more dimensional. I'm also paying attention to the direction of the pencil marks. Following the direction of the fur can help create texture without needing to draw every individual hair. So the biggest challenge will definitely be to stay patient. There will probably be a moment that it will look too light and unfinished. Normally I might press a bit too hard or rush because I want to see the final result. But this time I'm going to build up each layer, and I'm also going to accept the visible pencil strokes. The drawing doesn't need to look digitally smooth. The texture shows how it is made. And this brings me to my final rule. Art supplies are not awards that you receive after becoming a better artist. Using them is actually part of who you are going to become as an artist. You don't need to become a better artist before using your art supplies. You get better by actually using them. Maybe using these pencils will reveal that these are still things that I need to improve. But this is not a reason to avoid them. This is the exact reason I need to use them. So these are the 5 finished drawings of the secret garden. Full mushrooms created with acrylic markers, the butterflies made with oil pastels, the neon beetle created with highlighters, the frog sitting on a water lily with alcohol markers, and finally the fox surrounded by flowers with colored pencils. Even though every illustration was created with a completely different material, the shared nature theme connects them as one collection. So before making this collection of the drawings, I thought saving art supplies was actually protecting them. But materials don't become more valuable inside a drawer. Markers can dry out, favorite colors can become forgotten, and even supplies that technically last for years are not helping you improve when you never use them. Not every drawing needs to be special enough to justify your best materials. You can use them for small experimentations, an imperfect sketch, or simply because you feel like you want to create something. You don't need to wait to be more skilled, more inspired, or completely certain of a good result. The only way to feel more comfortable with the material is to actually use it. So let me know below in the comments which drawing was your favorite of the secret garden, which one of these drawings was your favorite. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I also want to know which art supply you have been putting off using. I also want to give a real quick shout out to my Etsy shop. I recently launched it, so if you're interested in some personalized art, you can find the link below. I also have my other socials here as well, so you can follow me there. And if you're a bit scared to still use your art supplies, then I have an exact video on that topic, so you can watch it here next. Maybe it helps you out. And until then, happy sketching guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!